Welcome to episode 2 of Tea and Coffee with Tom and Cam.
Morning, guys.
How are we? So we introduced ourselves on the last one and we introduced reality and health and fitness really as like coaches and just life. Because the thing with me and Cam is we're not your typical coach in some respects. We're not your 6 foot ripped to death coaches.
As much as we'd like to be.
Well, back in the day, probably not so much now.
No, but I think it comes down to perspective and understanding, what is it that, matters, and how do you actually grow from exercise and training and good nutrition?
I think age plays a big part in this though. How old are you then, Cam? 26?
27.
See, you're quite mature, aren't you?
For 27-year-old, I've been told this. Yeah. Like throughout my 20s, I've been told I'm quite mature for my age.
Now, most people are in the 20s in some respects. Well, unless maybe it was just what it was like 10 years ago. We wanted to be a lot bigger. But now the reality is being 30s and being a parent and stuff like that, you just sort of like, I just want to be healthy. I really don't care about how I look overall.
Yeah.
As long as I'm healthy, I can run, I can do whatever I need to do, then happy days. If the abs start to show a little bit, bonus. If they don't show, I don't really care.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose it's different for me in that aspect because it kind of comes down to how you want to do it. Like what is it you want to achieve and why do you want to achieve it? So for me, for instance, like I'm quite unique in the sense like my background now is natural bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So the aspect of, what my goal is and where it takes me is vastly different to the general population of a person.
Yeah.
When we talk about the type of people that we work with, like between the two of us in Heroic, like we work with quite a mixture of like parents, people who are, in their 30s, maybe late 20s, but a lot of parents that are 30s, 40s, like we even train with people who are 50 and 60.
Yeah.
Some of the ones who are like in like middle age, like 50s and 60s, are beasts.
Yeah. Some of the fittest in the gym.
They really are. Like they really put a lot of the guys to shame. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. Like I was chatting to Steph on Friday, and like I couldn't sing her praise enough. Like she's a mum of two. Yeah, Mill and Ellie, and like she's an absolute beast. Like it's the fact that she can show up and she can do what everybody else does, and it's everybody else that's struggling to keep up with her.
Yeah, very, very true.
It's like she's so strong. Like what's she achieved? I think she's got 70 kilo deadlift, 70 kilo squat, and 15 kilo dumbbell.
Yeah.
Bench press. Like for a lady who's how old, Steph?
Oh, Jesus, don't quote me on this. I'm not going to say Eva, actually.
I'm not going to say this, but she's got 2 fully grown women as daughters, and she's an absolute beast.
Yeah.
An absolute beast. So, yeah.
And not even in the weird way.
No,
Like
she's
not in the typical...
She's not like
gym,
a hardcore, like,
just 3-hour
lifter.
sessions.
No.
Body pump, body attack. And what was the third one that they used to do? Pump.
Sculpt?
Oh, something stupid, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh no, what was it? Insane 60?
I don't. You know what? There used to be like 3 class everyone used to do it, all the women and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Nothing like that. Like no one in our gym is like obsessed.
No, the only thing that Steph does now is she does my 3 sessions a week, which is a squat focused strength and conditioning, deadlift strength and conditioning, and a bench strength and conditioning. And then she'll maybe get like 1 or 2 sessions in between that on her own time. And that's whenever she's doing that in her lunch.
Yeah.
Like where she works has a gym space, and she'll just go and do that in her lunch break, which is like awesome, brilliant. So we were covering different things that she can do outside of the classes that's going to help benefit her to perform. So when we reel this back around to like me saying about natural bodybuilding, like who we work with, I'm a natural bodybuilder, but how we coach is different. Like I'm not training everybody to be a natural bodybuilder like me. As much as I'd love to train bodybuilders, just right now, that's not who we're working with. We're working with just general population people who just want to feel good and just feel a little bit more comfortable in their skin. Nobody's looking to have a 6-pack.
No. Although you do have a couple of clients, don't you, who are
I've got a couple of clients. So I've got a couple of online clients who are a bit more physique focused. I've got my guy Leighton. Leighton, he's done fantastically. Yeah, he's done fantastic. He's went from like 82 kilos down to 68 kilos. Like mega stuff, like, and he's still dropping more weight, and what he's learning and how he's applying himself to the training is phenomenal. I got a leg session in with him, so I did about a week ago, Saturday past, and we were just dropping bombs of knowledge and mindset and biomechanical applications to the movements that he was really understanding and grasping. You know, so yeah, he's doing really well.
Now, training's tough in some respects. Now, training naturally is tough. Training with support is still tough because you've still got to push yourself through, obviously, the gains. Although you might grow a little bit quicker or become lean a little bit quicker, but you still got to put the effort in. Okay. Now, natural training is a lot harder still because obviously, if you're not taking fat burners, if you're not taking GLP-1, if you're not taking steroids, then you're going to either lose fat slower or gain muscle slower. Yeah?
Yeah.
The reason I brought this up is because we are natural, we do everything naturally. People in our gym do everything naturally. There's no steroid abuse. GLP-1, there might be a couple of people taking it here and there, but they'll use it structurally.
But the thing is, though, right? So this is interesting because so outside of coaching, I also work in a supplement shop. So these are conversations I have on a very regular basis, right? And unfortunately, as much as I'm a natural bodybuilder and as much as I'm not allowed to take them due to the specifications to be a natural bodybuilder, GLP-1s and peptides are in some degree natural.
Yeah.
Because they're scientifically engineered amino acids, which we already naturally produce within our body, but they're not like supercharged the way that PEDs are. You know, like they're not gonna like push your body beyond its limit. They're just there to kind of rewire the amino acids chain in terms to the regrowth and the repair to your muscles. So, or other aspects to your body. You know, whenever we talk about GLP-1s like the Mounjaro, Ozempic, those type of things. So that aspect of natural still falls into natural. It's just they are a tool to be used for certain people. And you've had good conversations with people about this as them being a tool.
Yeah.
But it's about using it appropriately. Yes, it's about them being used appropriately. You know, and
cycling.
Yes.
Just as you would if you take steroids. I don't know a lot about steroids, but you cycle steroids.
Yeah.
The problem is with what we've got at the moment with GLP-1 and stuff like that is people aren't cycling them. They're dependent on them. Yeah. Which is a key issue.
And the thing with that as well is, you know, people can become quite addicted to these things in the sense of the results that it can gain them, right? And the problem with that is with the addiction, you then become blind to what it is that what's beyond the limit. Like, you know, when we talk about this in the sense of people taking Mounjaro, Ozempic, those types of GLP-1s, people can take it too far and then it can become very detrimental because, as you've already said, we start talking about muscle loss. Like, that is hugely detrimental. You don't realize the impact that has on your body biologically.
Just one of so many things as well. Like, people forget about bone density, they forget about food, they forget about how it affects like the liver, you know, the intestines and stuff like that. There's a big effect. So everything should be cycled at minimal. Yeah. Minimal, not 12.5 grams, milligrams, sorry, not highest doses and staying on it for a long time. Yeah. That is starving yourself. I'll tell you a story. I might have told you how much information I might have to give in this, if it's family. No, right, so there's a person who's in my life who is 70-something, okay, diabetic, and obviously overweight. Doctors have given GLP-1, which is absolutely fine, but that is it. That is not fine. No, you should be out walking. Should be out walking anyway before GLP-1 and diabetic. No, you should be strength training, or even maybe potentially giving them a gym membership, which would probably be a lot cheaper than all the drugs that they're giving them anyway. Just giving them GLP-1 now. The issue was, the person in question was taking this, he was taking this, not losing any weight. I was like, well, I'm not really sure how you're meant to eat less than what you already do.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people who I coach do not eat enough. You get a lot of the big coaches saying, they're just not tracking correctly. They're underestimating the calories. Yeah, probably a lot of people out there who do. A lot of people who I get do not eat enough. This person as well did not eat enough. And I'm like, well, what are you hoping to do? Just skip it. Skip meals every other day. Eat on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays, and that's how you're going to lose weight. That's going to kill you quicker because you've got no nutrients coming to the body, you've got no energy coming to the body, you've got no proteins, nothing, none of the stuff that your body needs to survive. That's the frustrating part for me.
It's the fact that we aren't getting people who are just being silly with their food. We're getting people who are on the back end of like dieting and they're going, I've made X, Y, and Z amount of progress, but I haven't been able to get any further.
Yeah.
And then we are the ones that have to teach them. Well, the reason to this is because your body is so adaptive. Like if we strip this right the way back to a caveman era. I love always referring back to this because when you explain something back from the caveman era, people do kind of go, oh, because it's so simplified. And it's a simple sense of if we look back on the caveman era, right? Or any kind of like instinctive mammal like eatings and requirements, right?
Like 500 years ago and further back, really.
Yeah, right. So when we look at the caveman, right, they couldn't always guarantee they were going to have a meal every single day. So the way it worked was that whenever they did get a hunt, right, and they did win a meal, then their body would take all the nutrients that it required there and then, and anything extra, because the caveman would just eat.
Yeah.
They would just eat regardless of whether they were full or not. So anything extra, the body then would take all those additional nutrients and it would store it into the fat cells and keep it for fat. So that depending on when the next meal would be, because the cavemen couldn't always guarantee they were going to get a meal the next day. It could be 2 days, it could be a week, whatever it may be. So they needed to sustain themselves in some way. So our bodies learned to naturally utilize fat or stored energy for that fuel source instead. But people don't realize, right, that whenever they undereat so much to a certain extent, this adaptation from caveman era comes into play, because when they start eating so little, the body starts to understand, oh my God, food is scarce.
Yeah.
Okay, but I can't survive off of just this, so I need to take anything extra that we can get from time to time, and I need to store it. So when people are trying to diet so hard and they're being so strict and so regimented, and then they go, oh cool, okay, right, I've worked my ass off, I can go out with my family and I can have a meal guilt-free. Brilliant, fantastic. But the problem now is that because of that meal and because you've been under-eating so aggressively, your body has now took everything from that meal and just went, food, kept it for me.
Yeah.
And it's stored. And then you feel like you haven't made any progress because you've been in X, Y, and Z amount of a deficit versus the weekend. So across the week, you're no longer in a deficit. You're actually in a bit of a surplus due to it, because your body will also metabolize to wherever your food is if you stay in a diet long enough. And that's a massive thing as well.
Yeah.
People think that they can keep digging and digging and digging these calories, but your body is so adaptive. It learns so quickly on what it needs to do and how to do it, that this is where we now step in.
Yeah.
Because we get the people in there going, I can't make any more progress. Right, this is why. You need to actually come out of the dieting. You need to reverse out. We need to keep you at your baseline weight right now. We need to focus on building some muscle so that your body can learn to actually burn more calories, because the more that you build muscle, the more you upgrade the body, the more it physically has to burn, because you have got more to move and to work and to engage. So then it's probably, like a 3-month period before that person goes back into deficit again.
Yeah.
Depending on the person and their relationship and how well they're progressing within their training. Then we get down to the real nitty-gritty stuff, and then we start teaching them the exact pinpoints of refeeds, you know, carb cycling, how to bank calories, you know, and this is where we come into play.
Yeah.
You know,
it is a game.
Oh yeah, but it's interesting, like on the back end of this, because something that I was thinking about there was you talking about GPs, right? And a GP isn't trained or educated to tell their
name
patients.
Says it alone. A general practitioner.
Yes.
Like anyone's technically a general practitioner, to a degree.
I suppose.
Do you know what I mean? Depends.
What's the point now when you got AI?
Well, that's it, isn't it? There's a lot of people that do that anyway, isn't there? But
self-diagnosis.
You know, a general practitioner just knows general knowledge. Generally does not know enough when it comes to health and fitness. That's what I've learned over the years.
With health and fitness, I think we should highlight that in terms of like general knowledge. Obviously, like
cancers and bugs and
they've been studying for years and years and years, and they understand the biology and the chemistry within the body. You know, and they understand how to diagnose somebody or what needs to happen in order to diagnose somebody. Yes, that's correct. But I think what really needs to be highlighted here is the terms of that in which they're not educated for health and fitness. But I think that what's something to really identify is the fact that education as a whole isn't enough for anybody. Because
let me tell you a story.
Hold on. Before that, right? Because if we look at GPs versus first-time personal trainers, and we look at the education both have been given, both have holes missing, right? Because when people first get qualified as personal trainers, it's not that they're not qualified to train you in the gym, but it's more for the fact of they haven't been given enough experienced knowledge to understand exactly how to approach each individual client one by one and how to tailor it specifically to them.
So you'll notice that most online coaches, as soon as they've done a program, they've done a little bit on themselves, they'll tend to give out food plans. They'll tend to give out calories. And they all tend to be the same. It's quite general.
Yeah.
So you tend to notice someone who's quite fresh, quite novice, as opposed to someone who's, you know, been doing it for 5 years, 10 years and 20 years. But it comes with experience, it comes from learning. And that's why, like, Cam's just pulled that face, hasn't he? And I get why, but then you've got to think, potentially I was in that position at one point myself, and it's not from learning.
That's the worst
from
part about it.
experience.
That's the worst part about it. Every single PT has been in that boat. Like, you've been guilty of that.
The best advice I could give to any new coaches is get yourself a coach. That, I know we're going off subject of what we were talking about, but if you are a new coach, the best advice I could give any coach, get yourself a coach. I've done online programs with different coaches for different reasons. I want to learn from them. I want to see what they're doing differently. There's coaches that I've had that I did not rate whatsoever. But at the end of the day, they were at the top of the game, making a lot of money, and there was something to take from there, and there was value to take from them. Like, learn from as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the GP.
Oh, God, here we go.
So this is about my dad, this. So my dad, he's stayed relatively fit. He used to always stay fit. He's had psoriasis, unfortunately, for many, many years. If I had it my way, I'd be controlling his nutrition a lot more. He doesn't want to play that game, which is fine. It's a stepping stone. So he's been to the GP. He's mentioned about psoriasis, and the GP has basically said to him, you could look at losing some weight. He's had the psoriasis long before being overweight. He had it when he was still fit in his day, years and years ago. I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. But the GP was like, you know, maybe it's because you're overweight, and it's like such bad advice. I know it's down to his nutrition overall, over his calories and stuff like that.
Psoriasis can also be inflamed by stress and anxiety.
Probably is a lot of that as well, to be fair. There's a lot of stress over university, and he's a planner, so it's quite a tough job. But yeah, it's just, you can't just look at something and be like, yeah, you just need to lose weight. It doesn't work like that.
No.
Look at my nan, just sort of said that. Look at Uzi was talking on the first story. Give a GLP, just lose weight. No, actually what you need to get her doing is out walking, actually increase the calories because she's not eating enough for a start, and strength training.
Yeah.
But what can you do when you've got the professional GPs telling you, this is what you need to do. You need to lose weight. You need to have GLP-1. Medication. Let's stop tangenting on this because we go.
Well, Joel, I'm going to finish on a positive note, though, right? And I'm going to sort of kind of back up and reinforce what you've already said, because I haven't seen a GP. I haven't been in a GP's office in probably about 10 years, right? Now, touch wood, I'm so fortunate, right? I don't catch ill, ever, right? And I genuinely do swear down by the fact that it just comes down to my physical activity. And I don't mean just going to the gym. Like, I don't drive, right? And as embarrassing as that is, as a 27-year-old.
Key point.
I don't drive. However, I walk everywhere. And I always have. I love walking. I don't know why. But I've always just loved being on my feet and walking about. And you see, because of that, I genuinely, like, I'm not sure what the science is behind this or if there's been any studies behind it. So don't quote me on it. But I genuinely believe that because of how much I walk everywhere, my immune system is fucking bulletproof. Excuse the French, but my immune system seems to be absolutely bulletproof, right? There's bugs that go about here all the time, and I've never seemed to catch them. Like, you hear about all the seasonal bugs that go around.
There's a J-shaped curve to do with this. I've got a video on this.
Yeah, and I'm never ill.
So basically, like, the body's evolved to stand taller, walk more efficiently because we need to travel, run more efficiently, throw more efficiently, which would be like fighting, hunting, stuff like that. So the body's adapted, and obviously as it adapts, it wants to get better, stronger, healthier, better immune system. Now, there's a J-shaped curve, we won't go into this too much. So the top of the J, before we start, that's someone who's sedentary, and they're obviously more likely to get ill than someone who's doing low activity exercise, okay? Then obviously the more intense it gets, the more chance of you being ill again. So at this point here, doing nothing and then starting to do 10,000 steps per day, a couple of sessions in the gym, low intensity that being, not HIIT training, your immune system's at its strongest. Then as you start to go up with training 6-7 days a week, then HIIT training 5, 6, 7 times a week, that's got more chance of being ill because your body's under too much stress.
So long story short, what I'm saying is that bodybuilding's superior to high rocks.
Probably. No. Cycle it. It's going to be cycled. I think cycling.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong. But I do agree with what you're saying, though, because that makes so much sense. Because within the last 10 years, right, I think there's only been once that I've gotten ill, right, in my entire time as, you know, being in the gym and all the rest. And it was probably to do with the fact that I was doing so much.
Yeah.
I think I was doing 5 days training. I was working like 12-hour days, getting 5.5 hours sleep, and I was so stressed because I still wasn't making enough money, and I was overwhelmed. And then the next thing you know, my body just shut down like that. Yeah. I couldn't get out of bed. Like Maya was like, "What's going on right now?" Because you know me, like I don't stop.
Yeah.
You know, for me to physically stop is like the world should stop, right? So for me to be stuck in bed, Maya was like,
"It's big.
This is the apocalypse right now." So all I needed was a couple of days, and then I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 days, back on my feet, I was good to go. But since
I'm glad
then,
you have that support, by the way, that she knew. Like, obviously, like, man flu's obviously a thing, isn't it? So
my missus doesn't give me that out, pal. Like I said, I don't get the whole oh, it's only man flu bullshit. Like we support men with men flu, okay? So men, if you're suffering with a man flu, we got you.
Absolutely.
We're looking after you. We will fight the good fight for you with your women and your wives and your girlfriends and your mothers and your sisters, whoever it is that's questioning your illness. It's a real illness.
It is.
Man flu is real.
Now, reverting back to the natural training as what we were saying and what we've been talking about here, and like saying like your GLP-1 and whatnot, and everything's cycled. Like we just said there, with training hard rocks, it should be cycled. GLP-1, we should cycle it. You shouldn't just like what's the word I'm looking for? Depend on it. And then training, like it's a game, and you've got to learn to play the game. Even like ourselves, when we first started out as coaches, we've had to learn to play the game. We've had to learn by experience, by getting further coaching, talking to people. But when you learn the game, it gets a lot easier.
Yeah.
It gets a lot easier. And probably the key really for today's conversation is don't try and do it on your own. Just like myself, I've reached out for coaches and used other coaches. Cam, have you used other coaches?
Oh yeah, I've had a couple of different coaches. And the best part is that they've pretty much all had different backgrounds as well. Yeah. You know, like now more so like coaches in the future, I'll probably stick to bodybuilding coaches because that's what my goal is. But will I only ever have bodybuilding coaches in the future? I don't think so. I think there'll definitely come a degree where, you know, when I've achieved what I've wanted to achieve with bodybuilding and I feel like I've got the applicable knowledge and to do it myself, I think I'd maybe start working with different coaches of different backgrounds, you know, that are a bit more niche specific, not necessarily sporting backgrounds for coaches, but more of, okay, this coach is fantastic at biomechanical principles. This coach is fantastic at nutrition. This coach is fantastic for mindset and planning. You know, that's probably who I'll try to work with in the future.
To help improve your game.
Yeah. Because the thing is, like as Thomas said, like, and as I've already mentioned, like, unfortunately, you know, these qualifications that PTs go through nowadays, like I don't know what it was like for you whenever you done it. Whenever I done it, I was in college.
I was in college, so it was good.
I was quite fortunate.
Yeah.
Like, do you see all these people that are going out and doing their PT qualifications privately? Like, I think you're getting shafted.
Yeah,
to be fair, because you're paying an absolute extortion for them, and you're getting so little information back from it. You know, like what about social media recently? Like there's Pure Gym PTs that are absolutely getting done in on social media. You're laughing, but
you know what? Yeah, but you can see the fresh. You can see the fresh, and you know what? And it's probably naughty of Pure Gym. Maybe it's easy marketing. I don't know, but
I actually feel bad. I feel bad for those coaches because, unfortunately, you know, I love the fact that people still want to get into coaching.
Yeah.
And there's people that are passionate about it, and they're passionate for the right reasons because they've seen the benefits that it has towards them. So they want to make that same impact to other people, which is awesome. You know, I think we've gone past this age now where people are getting into PTing because they think it's made of money. You know, because there was an era there just not long after
especially
COVID.
online coaching.
Yeah, like everybody was just jumping on the bandwagon because they're like, oh, coaching's easy. Like the money you can make off that is gold. So I'm glad to kind of see we're coming away from that.
Yeah.
You are starting to see more coaches who are genuinely passionate about it. But these coaches coming fresh from these qualifications through Pure Gym and stuff, who are getting absolutely ripped inside out. Like, I don't think it's fair.
No, it's
don't get me wrong. Like, do I think that, you know, that they should keep going ahead and posting the content that they're posting?
Nope.
No, because it's not helpful and it's actually detrimental. Now, do I think that as maybe us as coaches, we should be helping represent them and to teach them even further? Yes. As we've already said, like, if you're a fresh coach, the very first thing that you should do is hire a coach with experience who's in a niche field that you want to be in, or that you at least think that you could learn from.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've passed a friend over to you, Emery.
I was just thinking about Emery then,
Emery, he messaged me probably about last week, and he says that he's absolutely loving your coaching. How's he getting on?
Great. So I'm putting him through like how I would put a Gen Pop person through. So all the learning content, like I have little mini videos, and I have videos that are a bit more in depth, and then they'll have questions, make sure they understand it. A lot of the stuff he'll understand anyway because he's already been coaching for a few years anyway.
Yeah, because he is a PT now.
Yeah.
And I think Emery's been a PT for, I think he got his qualification not long after I moved here, so he must be a PT now for at least 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he sent over a few videos, and then we've just made little changes, but has been more efficient. So one of the ones at the moment is the chest ground burpees. And he's doing like the traditional Hyrox version where it's a step out, and I'm like, that's harder. You're going into a deep lunge and you're kicking out, and then going back into a deep lunge and kicking in. It's like, no, you want to learn to float, jump out, jump in. It'll be a lot quicker.
Yeah.
There's ways that we can break that down to make it even easier as well. So that's our next step moving forwards.
Yeah, because he's got a Hyrox competition coming up, hasn't he?
Yeah.
When's that?
He's hopefully doing, don't quote me, London in November, December.
Unreal.
So 6 months, perfect amount of time to train really, and then he's got a 500 metre version, a sprint version this weekend coming up as well. So
brilliant!
It's a nice way to find out whereabouts he is and where he could be struggling and where we can improve on.
But it's brilliant though because like Emery originally contacted me, so he did because I coached Emery, so he did just before he went to qualified because I'd known him through the gym that I used to work at in Belfast.
Yeah.
And he's a great lad. Like always had so much time for him, and he's so dedicated to like being better. So whenever we finished up, he was moving over here and he was getting his qualifications and stuff to work here. So obviously money was a bit tighter, so totally understandable. We ended on a great note, so he did. But he took so much away from that as well. So he contacted me, so he did a few weeks ago, and he said to me, hey man, look, things are going really well. I'm coaching really well. I'm running this. But I'm really trying to get into Hyrox at the minute. So he was like, I'd love to get back on coaching with you because, you were such a great help the last time. Is it something that we could potentially do? And as we've already said, my background is not Hyrox. Like my background is natural bodybuilding. Now, there are probably some people out there, right, who don't really have that background, who would have just took him on and just went, yeah. And then just within themselves went, I'll figure it out. Well, for me, it was like, no, like he's a good guy. Like I know that, that he wants the best possible service here. So for me, it was like, no, it'd be an injustice if I took him on. Even though I would love to take him on, he was a privilege to coach. It would be an injustice for me to teach him to Hyrox because I don't Hyrox. So first person I went to was you. So I just essentially went, hey man, look, it's not my background, but I do appreciate the fact that I was your first thought. But my colleague Tom is a Hyroxer and he runs Hyrox classes, so that's your guy to go to.
Yeah, it's been going well. It's going well, and makes you think I can't wait to get the house moving, everything done, so I can get back into it myself. To be fair, get a little bit jealous.
Yeah, well, that was the next thing I was going to say. Yeah. Like, what's your goals now for this year? Aside from that, obviously, but like in terms to fitness, nutrition, the business, what are you looking to achieve? Because we've already mentioned like me being a natural bodybuilder.
To be honest, nothing. So I'm going to do a video coming up, and I'm just going to show you my shape that I'm in, because I'm really not bothered at the moment. So people have been asking, are you tracking? I'm like, no, I'm a bit. Basically eat the same sort of foods anyway. I am eating high calorie versions. So I'm probably going to be in an indirect build phase at the moment. I'm getting stronger, I'm feeling stronger again, I'm feeling bulkier. So, but I'm putting no pressure on it because the goal is not to track forever. The goal is actually to understand nutrition better so that you can go in and out of whatever phases that you want to be in. So at the moment, the proof is I'm being in an indirect build, I'm getting stronger and I'm enjoying where I am. This is my shape. I haven't got a six-pack, but I can help people get to where they want to be. It doesn't matter about how I look, it's about how I can coach you. And these are the sort of videos that I'll be doing in the future. So yeah, I've got my house move coming up, which is very interesting, taking up a lot of time and energy. And then once I've got that, I've just got a feeling that something with the gym's going to happen. Can't guarantee it, but I just feel like it's going to be the next stepping stone.
Yeah.
So for myself, it's more about maintaining and enjoying where I am at the moment. If I put a little bit of weight on, then I can just get back into tracking, or if I want to, I'll just go back into an indirect cut. I say indirect because I don't know if I'm doing it specifically, but I know what foods I mean because I've been doing it for years and years and years. Does that make sense?
Funny, because I'm probably in an indirect cut right now, because I started the cut, I think this is week 10 now, actually. And I've actually pulled it back a little bit. And not out of laziness, because the thing is that I love getting lean for the summer, and I haven't been lean in about 2 years. So as a bodybuilder, getting lean is very, very exciting. It allows us to really assess ourselves and to see what progress is made, see what our new strengths are, and or if our strengths have gotten better, or if we've got any new strengths, or see what our current weaknesses are or still are. So, but with everything going on recently, I've kind of pulled back a little bit. Just really haven't had a lot of time to like put more work in, but I'm still being proactive, as you already said, like indirectly, like I'm still eating in a deficit, I'm still doing my steps, I'm still getting my training sessions done. I'm just not getting in the extra work to enforcing myself to do it, because I just haven't got the physical or mental capacity to do it right now. But I can guarantee you though,
but the structure is there.
Yeah. And by the end of the summer, I can guarantee you I'm gonna have a six pack.
Good man.
But no, that's good though, mate. That is good. But like, I think so right now you're like in the bodybuilding world, we'd call your current phase main gaining.
Yeah.
Main gaining is kind of like where you're sitting around maintenance, maybe just ever so slightly higher.
Yeah.
But you're not like pushing ridiculous amount of foods, because if anybody knows bodybuilding, like bodybuilders will push heavy amounts of foods to the point where like we want to puke. Like
it's another job.
Are hungry,
isn't it? It's another job.
Oh yeah. Bodybuilding it's not one of them sports that anybody can just do. Like it's quite physically and mentally challenging, not just the training, but everything that surrounds it. Because I love telling people this. I think it's so funny because for me, it's just so normal.
Yeah.
But I eat the same thing every goddamn day.
Yeah.
I get up in the morning, I have overnight oats with protein powder and blueberries. Then in the afternoon, I have 2 meals. So I have 2 portions of chicken and potatoes with some sauerkraut and maybe some sort of a sauce. If I'm training, then I'm going to have a portion of cream of rice with dark chocolate. Dark chocolate's there for taste, but also for the slower digestion. And then my last meal every single day without miss is 2 low-fat burgers with 2 bagel thins, a wee bit of cheese, with a bit of sauce. That is not exciting in any means. There's nothing exciting about that, but it works for me.
And just quickly, like if you were ever to go into a build, you wanted to build muscle, you don't necessarily have to do it like Cameron, but it does help as well. Because you're in a cycle, you're in a routine.
So the thing that I always like identifying with this for people is this is the way that I do it because this is what's going to help me get the best result in the quickest time possible.
Yeah.
But that's because I have a very stern kind of like end goal, or like I'm trying to be the best as soon as possible. For me to be a competitive natural bodybuilder, I need as much muscle as I can, and I need to be as lean as I can. So for me, yes, I need to make sure that my food is consistent all the time, so that I can see the progress and track the data. But for the general population, that doesn't need to be the case.
No.
But I think you need to understand who you are within that general population now. Because I hear this time and time again where people are like, oh, but my food's just so boring, like I need more variety. And then whenever you look at somebody's food, whenever they include so much variety across the week, then they start telling you, oh, like it's so hard trying to think of new things to make. And it takes so much time to prep this and to cook this and stuff. And it's like, well, this is where you need to establish the balance between the two. Like you have the same structure of food, don't you?
Yeah.
But you'll just change how you do it.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before on Instagram. If we take chicken and rice, for instance, like how can you create more variety with chicken and rice? Well, you could have
egg fried rice, chicken egg fried rice, and
sweet chili chicken and rice,
Chinese,
teriyaki, those type of things. Like you can still have the same fundamentals of food and change it up that way. Just stop thinking about trying to change everything. Like you don't need to change your source of protein, your source of carbs, your source of fats every single day, every single week. But you need to keep some fundamental structure that your macros are relatively going to stay the same or are going to only be marginally of a difference between those days so that you can be the most consistent as possible across an entire week. If you're constantly chopping and changing, then your body's going to do this the same way that your food's doing this. Whilst if your food only does this, then your weight only does that. There's a direct correspondence to that, and I think that's the big thing that me and you probably we feel like we're banging our heads against the wall with.
Yes, definitely.
I think as a coach, like if you're not banging your head against the wall with that with people, then you need to start sort of digging a bit deeper with their nutrition, because if they're not getting the results that you want, if they're not getting the results that they want, or if you're not getting the results that you want, then there's something deeper that you need to identify with that.
And again, it comes down to education. Education, which you tend to get more from coaching, from experience, having structure. And like I said, this isn't like a marketing video. This is like I'm saying, reach out, because every program you do, or wherever you take the best out of the information out of there, you will be a better person for it. And it doesn't need to be just about fitness and health. You know, if you wanted to become a lawyer or solicitor and you're going to do some work experience or you're going to do a college course, you take the best information that you can to be a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
Nothing is better than education experience. But if you can get that education experience from people who've already got it, even better. It just comes sometimes at a price as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. So.
But I think we've had a good chat there today.
Yeah.
Brought up quite a few topics, but hopefully full circling what we're going on about, which is, like I say, a bit of structure, a bit of education, coaching, and understanding. Like, understanding being the key thing. Like, there's not a one path. Like Cam's just said there, how he does his bodybuilding, how I'll do it would be very differently.
Yeah.
But also similar.
The fundamentals are the same in terms of how we approach is what's different, you know, and we apply this to every single person that we work with. You know, not even work with, every single person that we have these conversations with, because me and you are the same in this sense. Like, we don't sort of hoard our knowledge and our experience to ourselves. Like,
no.
Anybody that ever asks us about coaching, fitness, or nutrition, we just...
Yeah, you do.
Because we genuinely want the best for every single person possible.
Yeah, do you
know what I mean?
want to show, like, we can help with this, we can help with that.
Yeah,
we're covering every angle for you.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, you're gonna get much better knowledge and much better accountability if, you know, you actually hire one of us, you know, but it doesn't mean that we're not going to give out friendly advice from time to time.
Or both of us. We can work as a pair. We've done it before.
We have. Right, folks, we're going to shut on now. Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully we will be keeping these as a regular thing on a weekly basis, all given the structure. I've said this and I've already shot myself in the foot because I'm away next Monday.
You are? You at Friday and Monday?
I'm away Friday and Monday.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe then, if depending on time, I'll see what I'm like. But maybe we'll do a little podcast over call. Not the same, is it?
No,
it's not the same.
No, definitely not.
Right, folks. See you later.